Ira Miller here with the Ira Miller Podcast in association with I Am Realty and Homes Around the Villages YouTube channel. I want to thank you so much for coming on our podcast, and you could either listen to this or you could also see it because we're kind of doing some visuals as well, but hopefully we'll get everything across that we're trying to get across here in our podcast as you listen. So I want to thank you so much for joining us on our podcast. Today, we have a really special guest today because we have Micaela, and Micaela contacted me, around 4 years ago. And as we were talking, we realized this was right at the start of the pandemic in 2020. So I'm going to let Micaela introduce herself and also kind of tell our audience here, how it was that you were able to, that you identified me, that you ended up calling me and contacting me. So how did that happen?
Well, I was looking into where the best places to retire in America, and really the villages stood out. And back in those days, only 4 years ago, you were one of the only YouTubers really talking about real estate that was a realtor. And you also do, correct me if I'm wrong, you are certified to do home inspections and your contractor's license. And I'm like, wow, with all your experience, I really wanted you, not just, someone who got their real estate license like 2 weeks before. And it was a pandemic. I had to have someone that I could trust and be confident in, that they would look at it for me, because at that time, it was like April when I first contacted you, 2020, and the state was closed. So by you going and being able to make a video, and we actually did video chat, so it was live where we would talk back and forth at the house, that really helped a lot. So I felt like I could see it. And you were just so wonderful to deal with, and you always called us back. It's not like I was so far away that you're like, she'll never buy it or something. Like, you were really just always calling me back, and you made me feel like I could do it even with the pandemic and everything, and I wasn't crazy for buying it during the pandemic, which now we know is okay.
Where were you?
And people were like, you're buying a house in the pandemic? What are you doing?
Where were you?
I was in Maryland.
Maryland.
So up north, yeah.
So yeah, they were ready to, and even at that time, that was right at the start of the pandemic when even Florida was locked down.
Yeah.
And we were deemed an essential business in real estate, thankfully. So as a realtor, I was able to come and go. But it was kind of weird, traveling on the roads, and nobody's on the roads. And I'm like one of the very few cars because we were all locked down. And so Micaela contacted me. Now this is really why I wanted, one of the big reasons why I wanted Micaela on here is because she didn't buy in the villages. Where did you find your lovely home?
Found my dream home in Stonecrest, 55 plus active community across the street. More in Spanish Springs area, if you know the villages.
Right, yeah. So I'm like, oh man, Homes Around the Villages is the name of my YouTube channel, and I named it that purposely because I didn't want, it means homes around the inside and around the outside, and that's why, I started showing Stonecrest as a lifestyle, and Del Webb Spruce Creek, and On Top of the World, and Del Webb Stone Creek. But Micaela decided there was a much better value, right, in this home in Stonecrest. How big is the home that you purchased?
2,100 square feet. And we were originally looking for a villa. But the villas were selling out in an hour. Like, every house was selling out in an hour. Stonecrest, villa, everywhere. So we ended up looking at a house that needed work. And then that's where you really stepped up and really helped us figure out that we could do it and we could buy the house and do renovations and that everything would work out.
Oh, I just hope everything works. Like he says, it's going to work out. And so the home that that we purchased said it was a 3-bedroom, but it was really a 2-bedroom because the third room didn't have a closet.
Right, and the second bedroom, the previous owner took out the closet, so there was once a closet, but then there wasn't when we bought it.
So I told her, don't worry about it. We can take care of this. We can handle whatever you need. Refresh my memory about the roof. How I think they were already gonna put a new roof on here, right?
Yeah, they had decided they would already put the new roof on because they knew it needed one.
So we made sure we wrote it in the contract that we're gonna buy this home with a new roof.
And and that we wanted to choose the color.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's what it was. We were able to still at that point choose the color that you want on that. So we're going to show you some pictures of the before and after of the home. So this particular home had a 2.5 car garage. It had a 2-car and a golf cart garage.
And a bump out.
And they stretched the garage to the front, so it was great. It was a huge garage and right on a cul-de-sac, right on a really short street with a cul-de-sac, so there wasn't any traffic going by. And even what was in the back?
A pool.
A pool. That's right. So I distinctly remember walking on the landscape wall that was around the back of the pool, showing the pool and everything. So, how much did you pay for that home?
$350.
$350 for a block and stucco home, 2,100?
2,100 square feet.
2,100 square feet, 2.5 car garage, with a pool on a cul-de-sac.
And $350 was with the $10,000 credit, which went toward renovations, which paid for most of the renovations.
So let's talk about the renovations. So, renovations. Micaela said, really don't need a formal dining room, but I really need like a flex room. And I'm like, that's great. Yeah, we can definitely take care of that. We can turn this formal dining room, into a flex room for you. I think there's a couple of French doors after we were done with that. How did that?
There was a flex room that didn't have a closet, and they were saying that it was a bedroom. So it really wasn't. It was a flex room.
That was the flex room.
Right, and that had the French doors you're thinking of, yeah. So, the one we renovated, we added a closet in there, so it can be a bedroom.
So now all 3 bedrooms have closets.
Yes.
And then we turn the dining room into the flex room.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So now we have 3 true bedrooms, and then we turn, which you're using as an office, I believe, right now, correct?
Yes.
So really made this exactly what you really want. And so all of the stuff that suggestions I made I'm going to tell you, were from newer floor plans, and some floor plans like on top of the world. I remember looking at some homes, and there's a lot of homes in on top of the world with flex rooms. And really before I ever started going to or started even hearing about flex rooms, the villages they don't have any floor plans with flex rooms. So I didn't know anything about flex rooms until we really started talking about Micaela's home and what we could do and really make it functional for Micaela. So I went ahead and got my man Javier and his crew, and went through it and started making suggestions. And go ahead and tell us a little bit about your experience with that.
It was, your crew is just wonderful, really. They made it so easy, and with you, first of all, with you, Ira, I made a list, and we went through, and I said, well, give me your opinion. Some of this, does it really need to be done? Is it going to add value? Am I being crazy? Like, I had this long list. And you're like, no, it's what you want. And then certain things we decided, no, it's not going to add enough value. Don't do this, but do that. So then when I met with Javier and his team, and I showed the list and everything, it was more of like a finished list. And then they also gave me like input, well, this and that, and buying the different things, and that was all over the phone because I couldn't get there yet. Once we closed and stuff. So, but then we did come down and buy all of the things. So we were able to go shopping because they're going to put in the light fixtures, and they need the fixture to put in. So they helped us with like what size of different things, and if there were certain more hardware type of things, they would buy those. Like I had them replace all the hinges and doorknobs in the house, and we picked out the one we wanted, and they were able to pick it up. So it worked out really well, and they were awesome, and we weren't there very much because we were up north, and it was still the whole, pandemic time and all that stuff. So we came down real quick, bought a whole bunch of stuff, and left it, and wrote on it. Oh, and picked out our paint colors. Oh my gosh, Sherman-Williams.
Yeah.
Paint colors, and having the samples on the wall, just being like, oh my gosh. But it was actually fun, but it was a little stressful trying to do it all in a week.
But if I remember correctly, the inside really needed paint.
The house needed a lot of aesthetic work. It
Right.
really did. And that's why it was on the market for more than 30 days, because I think people looked at it, and between the size and just the work it needed. Let's see. So your team painted the whole exterior, the whole interior, changed all the doorknobs, all the hinges. We had a fire door had to be totally changed out in the laundry room. Like as we go through the pictures, I'll be able to remember. But they did a lot. It wasn't just a little bit. We wanted handles on all the cabinets and drawers. So, and I have to say that they are expert painters.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give a shout out to Elena because she's like meticulous with this cutting in of the paint. So we'd have Nelson kind of going through painting everything, but then Elena comes and she's got those edges and those lines really nice, and that's one of the things that kind of drives me crazy as a contractor is I see all these lines and stuff like that. So, but she's right on top of it.
Yeah, our house, perfect. Every line. There's no paint on anything. Because one thing we liked about the house, it already had granite countertops. It already had some wood floors and tile floors, and it was really had those upgrades. Well, someone's painting and they get paint all over it. Now you got to fix it and stuff. It was perfect. They did such a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, even now I go, wow, they got that molding line perfect.
Yeah, that was nice. And then, so I'm kind of thinking of some other details. Like I remember they left a couch outside, right? A pit or something, a pit couch in the lanai.
Yes,
and you didn't want that.
And yeah.
And
there were certain things they were supposed to have done at closing, and most of it they did, but some of it they didn't. And we just decided to just close anyway, and have Javier and the team take care of it. And they did. They did a great job.
Yeah.
Because we would have had to do it.
And then we also didn't we do a home warranty on your home?
No, I didn't feel like I needed to.
Okay.
Because the appliances were new and everything was new and redone, and if there were issues, I already knew whatever the issue was.
So how many times were you here for closing?
No.
When we closed on the home? So we
No.
did a remote closing,
Yep.
sent all the paperwork for you to sign everything.
You did the walkthrough and we talked on the phone. And I have a funny story about that too. So we're on, it was your iPad or your phone, and we're on video chat or whatever, we're walking around, I'm looking, watching, you know, you're like, here, this looks good, and they did do this, they didn't do that, you know, whatever. And the sprinkler, you're checking the sprinklers, and one of the sprinklers was off, and you went down, and you got all wet, and the camera got wet, and you fixed it. And you're like, it's fixed now, and you wiped the camera off. I'm like, wow, he's dedicated.
I'll tell you, whenever I do walkthroughs, it's those sprinklers that just are my nemesis. It seems like every time. I'm always trying to adjust them, or, you know, they're not working or whatever, and I always get soaking wet. And I try to remember my boots. Sometimes I'll remember them, most of the time I don't, and I end up soaking wet because I've got to get over there and make some adjustments, because if it's spraying on the wall or if it's spraying out in the street or whatever, we want to make sure everything is right for you.
And that's how you are. That just shows, because you could have totally not even said anything, and I couldn't have seen it, you know, from the camera if you didn't tell me. So you're just so thorough with everything.
Well, I don't want any surprises, you know, and I'm just going to kind of just tell it like it is. But everything we did, though, is from my perspective. Whenever I sell somebody a home, like in this case, this needed, you know, quite a bit of work, and but I look at it from a resale perspective. Mm-hmm. So I know these are everybody's forever homes, and you know, it's.
He says with quotes.
Because most of the time it is, and I feel like I get it right just about every time. And so many people say, you know, there's a saying in the villages, you know, you move 3 times within the villages. I'll do live streams, and I had a live stream on Monday, and someone was saying, yeah, you know, the average move in the villages is 3 times, and I said, well, that's for everybody else, but not me. I pretty much make sure I get it right the first time. Then they want to debate the issue. They want to say, well, you know, but it might be a seasonal home, and then they come to buy their permanent home, and then they move because, well, okay. You know, yeah. Sometimes we do get people who want just a seasonal home for, you know, 4 or 5 months out of the year. After a couple of years, they end up moving here full time. But that's the whole thing. I'm going to make sure that even if that's the case, I'm going to make sure that it's a home that you're going to be very easily sold if you ever need to do it. So I look at everything from a resale perspective in that aspect. And then that's the same with your full-time home, and that's... And then even with when we make adjustments or renovations, what is going to be in your best interest, in the home's best interest, if we make some of these changes? And just like you said, there is some things I said, no, that's not going to really, you know, get you any value out of the home. And yes, this will get you a lot of value, just like, you know, for sure that flex room rather than a dining room, because in the kitchen, you could eat at the counter in the kitchen, and then they had a breakfast nook area that's big enough really for a dining room or for a dining room table.
That different. So we had decided to use the kitchen as a kitchen. So we have a kitchen, we have the counter where you cook, and then you have the counter, the island where you can sit and eat. Mm-hmm. And then we have like a big dining room table, and then it's in where people normally have a living room in the villages. We have a big dining room table. And then in the little breakfast nook where you can see the pool, we have a sitting area where we have coffee in the morning.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we did our own way, and part of that's because we're just coming here younger with different ideas, and also from up north and different style ideas. And also watching your videos back then on Top of the World, and I really like the flex room in the front, which is what we have.
Yeah.
And so, but if you had said, oh, I think, you know, the flex room wouldn't work there or something, we probably wouldn't have done it, but you encouraged us to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just so much more usable space that you're going to use on a more consistent basis, because your home did have the formal living room and a family room right off the kitchen. Yep. So there was a lot of leeway in how you could utilize those areas. And, you don't really need a formal living room and a family room. You could just use one or the other. And so I think you use the family room off the kitchen for your dining room. Is that what
Yeah.
you've done?
Yeah.
And then you still have your formal living room, which is now really your family room, and
Yeah.
that's right off of where the pool is, because then
Yeah.
you have your sliding glass doors there,
Yeah.
and it worked out really nice.
We just felt like my partner and I felt like we didn't need all that sitting furniture. Like, how many couches did two people need?
Right.
Yeah, we bought a bigger house probably than we needed, but we got the best price with the pool, and it all worked out because of your renovation team is how it worked out. Because I wouldn't have just bought it and said I'm going to do everything myself.
Yeah, no, we couldn't have that. But you're right. How many living areas do you need? How many eating areas do you really need? So it's a very functional home, and I think it really turned out great. But what do you think about Stonecrest, the community?
I love it. I love that I can go to exercise class and not wait in line. I love that I can pretty much get tickets to any event I want and it's not sold out in 30 minutes. I love the people, so friendly. I love it's quiet at quiet time. And
True gated community.
yes, true day. I like the security of it. I like the location, so we still have a golf cart lifestyle, and we can go to Walmart, and we can go all the way down to like Wawa and BJ's on that
Yeah.
side.
Yep. And I've seen some people actually cross over that light to get over to the
Some
villages.
people, hey, I am tempted to get a gem car and get it street legal so I can cross the street, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, but there is that opportunity, and because way back when, there's a whole story about how when Gary Morris passed away, the developer of the villages, and his children took over, they actually put a wall up between the medical center where a lot of people from Stonecrest used to get into the villages and then get up and go over the golf cart bridge, to get over to Spanish Springs. And they actually put a physical wall to stop these Stonecrest people from being able to get into the villages. Well, that not only didn't go over very well for the Stonecrest people, but it didn't go over very well for the villagers either, because the Stonecrest people couldn't get in, but the villager people couldn't get out. So they finally, after a bunch of protests by the people who lived in the villages, the historic district that we call it over there where the mobile homes are, they finally took the wall away and put a gate there. And so the villagers can get in and out of there, but they're still trying to keep the Stonecrest people. But like I said, if you have a street legal golf cart, you could even street legal your golf cart. You don't even have to get a gem.
Oh, that's true.
And then you could zip across right at where Lowe's is, and United Southern Bank, and Chase Bank, and BJ's. But there's
In reality, you can just drive your car to Spanish Springs.
yeah,
Wherever.
there you go.
Like Sumner Landing.
That's right. And you probably want to anyways, because you might want to go on down to Sam's Club while you're there, or
Yeah, and
shop while you're
it might
there, or
rain,
whatever.
it might be 1,000 degrees.
Yeah. So what is it? It's 3 minutes from the front entrance of Stonecrest to get to Spanish Springs.
Oh yeah.
It's that close. So.
But and I do want to, for people, because of what's going to be going on in the economy the next few years, give a shout out to Spruce Creek across the street, and Ira also can sell there. We had some friends looking over there, and I'm really impressed with that community, and you can really get in there on a budget. I don't know if you want to talk about that at all.
Okay, yeah, for sure, because I have sold some homes over it's Spruce Creek South. And I will just say, not to be confused with Del Webb Spruce Creek Country Club. It used to be Spruce Creek Golf and Country Club. They changed the name to Spruce Creek Country Club. I don't know why, but they did. But anyways, Spruce Creek South is definitely all site-built homes over there at a homes, for people who are on a tight budget. They do have a nice pool and some. They do have an exercise room and auditorium and billiard room and library. So they do have their own golf course.
Yes.
It's a links golf course over there. So a lot of people like to go play that course. Even people in the season will come from the villages and go over and play golf over there, because sometimes it might be a little difficult to get on golf courses in the villages. So they take advantage of going to Stonecrest. They have a nice golf course, or Spruce Creek South, and they keep that community up really nice as well.
It's very nice and affordable, and they have one of the very few streets that you're able to cross over.
Right.
So they can cross over, and they have a golf cart lifestyle. They can go to Walmart and all down there, and go to the restaurants and do stuff like that too.
Yeah, because they petitioned Marion County to allow them to go up to the traffic light out of the front entrance, and that's a gated community as well.
Yes.
And true gated community, I should say. And then they can go right across the street to where Stonecrest is, and then on down to all the shopping, like you said, Aldi's, Walmart, Belk's, Lowe's, BJ's, all kind of stuff.
Yeah. And part of why I decided to come here a little early, so I wasn't 55 yet. I am now, but I wasn't then. Was because I found such a great realtor and such a great company to work with, and everything kind of just worked out. And so,
well, thanks.
Because I wanted to come early, because when people are interviewed, in fact, I remember watching a video you did where you interviewed people, and they said, "What's something that if you could do something different, what would it be?" or whatever your question was, and then people were always like, "I wish I came here earlier."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all the time, especially the way prices are. Your home's gone up quite a bit since. Would you want to share how much you feel like you spent on your home when you did all your renovations?
The total renovations with everything included, so like with all the light fixtures and everything else, was about $15,000.
15.
And then later, I ended up getting a real pool heater for the pool, not just the solar heat that we already had, and a few other things. So since then, we've probably done another 10.
Okay. So people are probably like, what? And I guarantee you her home is worth $100,000 more than what you bought it for 4 years ago. I guarantee it's worth at least $450 on that cul-de-sac with the pool, the size of the home, 2.5 car garage. The roof was put on. Was that put on after you?
No, right before.
Right before. I knew it was right. Yeah, so it's only 4 years old. Great yard, great landscaping. I mean, you have the best of everything there in that home. So yeah, absolutely.
I'm just waiting for the hedges to grow, because we don't have kissing lanais, but we have one a little close. So the hedges have been growing.
Miracle Grow.
Growing. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, get the Miracle Grow out. That'll help a little bit. All right. I guess we'll wrap it up. I really appreciate you coming in. I mean, we've really been talking with Micaela for a little bit, trying to get her in here, because I really wanted you to come in, especially because, you are living in Stonecrest and not the villages, or we had one person come from on top of the world as well. So I want to thank you so much for coming in and agreeing to do this podcast with us. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, I can tell you too that Stonecrest has a fitness center that's included. How much is the HOA over there now? I know it's like $150, but is it gone up?
$149.
Yeah, it's like it's incredible.
But that includes your trash.
Okay, cool.
And there's a gym, so we also have a gym.
Yeah.
So if you were to pay your trash and for a gym.
Yeah, I mean $150 for everything. It's it pays for the security gate, pays for the common areas, keeps the common areas up real nice. So yeah, it's a really good nice, affordable community. And I do know too, a lot of people from the villages who no longer feel like they need all the amenities of the villages. Don't you have a lot of people that have moved from the villages over to Stonecrest?
And those houses are selling quick in Stonecrest right now. Like, we'll literally go on a golf cart ride and see, oh, that house just went up today. And the next day it's off, the sign's down.
Yeah.
So it is, because we have some friends looking to buy in there also. So it's going fast. And if you're up north, you don't have to wait. Ira can make a video like he did for me. And he's not paying me to say this. I'm just really grateful that, you know, he really went out of his way to help us at a time where it was difficult in the whole world. You know, was going through a lot at that time. So, and coming here as someone who's more 55 age, you don't have to just, if you're moving to the villages or you're moving wherever you're in a 55 plus, you can make friends outside of there also. There's meetup groups and other groups, and there's some groups that are the villages groups, but they do some events that you can go to because they're in public places and not in the villages. So we're making friends in the villages, even though we don't live there. So you can make friends. It just opens your world, and you know, I'm really happy with our decision, and I just thank you, Ira, and your team, and your renovation team. And I did want to say one thing about the renovation team. They did such a great job. They were easy to contact. They would call us back right away, and they just went over and above. And in the end, we asked if they would add on like cleaning, so we could just, because we were exhausted from loading the pod, and the pod had to come down, and we had to get there a day early, like, so everything was done before we technically moved in. It was clean. All we had to do is unpack and go have fun and meet people.
And that is, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is so key, because I can't tell you how many times people have gotten with contractors and they try to call them up and that contractor never calls them back, certainly not in a timely manner, and to leave everything spotless and move in ready, yeah, that's huge, you know, and that's why I love, you know, Javier and his crew, because they're so respectful of your home and of the job that they do and the communication, and you know, it's easy for me to communicate with them as well as communicate with you. It just works very easily. And I'm going to encourage everybody to check out my video of Stonecrest on my YouTube channel, Homes Around the Villages YouTube channel. If you go to Homes Around the Villages YouTube channel, and there's a search bar in there. And there's also, I just want to say this as well, I have done a video on how to use my YouTube channel. Because honestly, when I first started doing these videos, I didn't even know everything that was accessible to my own YouTube channel, and if you in the search bar for sure, it's so I would encourage you to, you know, go ahead, and if you're having a little bit of difficulty navigating around my YouTube channel, watch that YouTube video about how to navigate my YouTube channel, and then you can go in there and you can pull up all the different videos. You can pull up Micaela's video of the home, of her tour, of her home and what we've done there, and also just the whole community in general, if you really want to know more about Stonecrest. So, Micaela, thanks so much for joining us. And I want to thank all of you who are listening and those that are watching. Really appreciate you attending our podcast. And if we can be of any assistance, please give us a call at 352-204-9026. We would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, give us a call. Comments, we love to hear your comments as well. So thank you again for attending our podcast, and we'll look forward to seeing you and hearing from you in our next podcast.